All right, guys, we're back with part 2 of Getting to Know Us. The first part, we really talked about sports, everything we really kind of liked, geeky stuff and all that. And this one, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then we're going to dive into a little bit of the juicy details of what all we're going to be talking about together in this.
Make sure that if you watch the last part, you give us a like and subscribe to Mr. Batman, because I assume that that's what channel it's going to be on. And if you like this one, it's just one click, so give us a like on that one.
Well, bam. I see, I ain't even got to do it. I mean, I just should just have him do it. I mean, there's no point. He just does it so good. So clear, too. I mean, if you guys obviously heard that, make sure and like that. It isn't, though, on Mr. Batman's. It is actually on our regular YouTube channel.
Oh!
That has all the rest of the videos. If you guys want to look it up and see what we were doing in our teenage years, at one point we were backyard wrestlers. So you can watch that.
No, false. Nah.
But preferably don't, because it's god awful and no one wants to see that. But with this one, part 2, like I said, this is part 2 of Getting to Know Us, just so you guys kind of have a basic rundown of who we are and what we like.
Because we ain't going to talk about it again.
Yeah, I mean, there's no
There's
point.
dark stuff up here.
Once I tell you about myself, that's it.
Yeah.
You get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow, because opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
You better lose the sound.
Yeah, that's Eminem. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Well, I mean, if you want me to tell you a little bit about myself, I mean, I'm a '90s baby. From an early age.
That's it.
From an early age, I mean, it was just legit. I was born in '92, which. Have you ever really thought about what good happened in the year you were born?
I normally, because I'm a wrestling fan, I normally decide like what wrestling was going on. In '96, I think it was like WrestleMania 11, which is like really bad. So I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Music, the '90s music wave that was going on wasn't as prominent.
Right.
It kind of like started hitting its. So I was born in the later half of the decade where everything went from being really awesome to just not awesome. You had good Power Rangers, though.
I mean, I did have good Power Rangers, but then also I think I'm like Batman Returns. Like, you have no idea how sad I was when I figured out that instead of being born in 91, where I could have been like, I'm a Terminator 2, baby. I'm like, I'm a Danny DeVito eating people's noses off, baby.
In retrospect, watching Batman Returns, it's not as bad as I remember it. Like, I've watched it recently, and I've been like, it's campy and it's cheesy.
But dude, it's so dark and campy. I mean, like...
It's Tim Burton's Batman 66.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
And I mean, I understand why children were scared of it back then.
Yeah.
But... Like, that's the first thing I think of when I'm like, 92, what happened in the year you were born? Which I know there's probably a bunch of other stuff, and I mean, whoever's listening to this, if you hear it, throw some, in the comments, throw a bunch of crap out. Cause
he was just born, cut him some slack.
Yeah, I want to know, please, because that's all I can think of, but I mean, that's all my mind runs on. That's why I'm going to tell you guys, growing up, 90s, I did have, I mean, I had the animated series. I had Batman the Animated Series, and I enjoyed it. That's what drew me to comics was Batman. That TV show in general, I was just like, I was in love. But I'm also, growing up, like, I'd get off the bus and everything, and, like, my mom would give me 2 options. She's like, do you want to watch Batman, or do you want to watch Terminator 2? And I'd be like...
At that age, you can't choose.
Yeah, at that point, I'm just like, let's see, Terminator 2. So I watched, I mean, I honestly probably couldn't tell you how many times I've seen Terminator 2.
It's a good flick.
Still an amazing flick, and my mom always...
I think one of the best things about it, though, is that it's special effects. There you go.
There you go.
Special effects still hold up today.
Oh, dude, yeah, absolutely. Like, that's... Like, I honestly think, like, other than me even saying it's the greatest sequel I've ever seen of all time, it's just, like, the movie itself, like, James Cameron was just cooking on the front burner with that one. He's like, yeah, let's put this in it. Oh, here we go. Dude...
He brought his A game.
He
brought peanut oil.
He Bobby filleted that right there,
dude,
you know.
So
but no, that was the movie that, like, growing up, I watched that movie religiously, and I can tell you this is kind of a funny story. Like, I didn't know exactly how movies worked, but I remember it was like the second or third time I watched Terminator 2. I looked at my mom after it was over, and I was like, "Did he really die?" And my mom was like, what do you mean? I was like, did the Terminator die? She's like, yeah, he died. I was like, so he's gone forever? Like, I'll never see him again? And she's like, well, no, you're not going to see the Terminator. And this was before Terminator 3 and all that other crap. And
Good.
but then, I guess my mom finally caught on that I was meaning, did Arnold Schwarzenegger die? Like, full on?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, he's an actor. And I'm like, what's that? And she's like, he plays that guy. And then, like, the character in the movies will die, but he didn't die. And I was like, oh, seriously? So then, like, it was like a week or two later, she brings in, like, Predator. And I'm like, he did something else!
Terminator!
So I watched the living crap out of Predator, but, like, I think that's also what, like, turned me on to whole, like, I've always wanted to be an actor. Because, like, it was that moment and that conversation with my mother where I was like, this guy is playing a character and, like, through life and death gets to go be another character after it's over. And that's why I've always been like, man, I want to be an actor so bad because you get to be another person.
Yeah.
Not that I'm like obsessed and like I want to have like all these different personalities and be like some freak. I just want to be able to test it out and be like, I've been this person, but at the end of the day, I'm still Jordan Duke.
Yeah.
You know? But growing up, it was that. But dude, my intro into wrestling, because we already got the comics and the films was Arnold movies, because I love Arnold movies, almost all of Arnold's movies. And then comics was the 90s Batman animated series, the 90s X-Men, and the 90s Spider-Man. Loved those shows religiously. Okay? And, of course, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were good, too. But at that age, I still like got upset, because I was like, they never freaking lose. Every episode, they win. And it got me to the point where I was like rooting for the bad guys. Yeah. I think that's why I like bad guys so much to this day.
My Power Ranger experience, since I was born so late, my favorite season of Power Rangers is Lost Galaxy. Yeah. And it was actually fairly dark from what I remember. But I remember specifically one episode, they're getting ready to do the big hoopla with the bad guy. And they pull out their swords and like bring them up to pose. And the tops of them are waving back and forth because they're not metal. Yeah. And I just, at a very young age, I just turned it off and was like,
You're done.
I was done.
You're done. Yeah.
But now, like, as an adult, I go back and I'm like, oh, it's so good. The camp is so good.
It's like the best.
Yeah.
No, but then wrestling. Let me tell you how it went down for wrestling with me. Okay. Right. My older brother, he got into it because it was the thing to do in like high school. Which it's kind of weird now because you mentioned WWE in high school, you get beat up.
Yep.
But
and those wrestling moves will not save you from getting beat up.
Yeah, no. I don't care how many suplexes you think you can do. You're not Brock Lesnar at the end of the day.
Nope.
No. PlayStation 1 came out. Huge. Mm-hmm. Of course, my brother's friends all were getting one from like their uncles or their mom and dads were buying it for them, and they're like, you need to get this, and so. My mom's like, all right, for your guys' Christmas, I'll get you guys a PlayStation and a game. Mm-hmm. Well, Driver 2 came out. And all I heard from my uncle and my brother was Driver 2, Driver 2, Driver 2, Driver 2. So, gets the PlayStation, and we go to get the PlayStation, and then we go to get Driver 2, and the Walmart is sold out. They do not have Driver 2. Well, we actually run into one of his friends that has the PlayStation, and he was buying SmackDown 2 Know Your Role. And he's like, you ought to just get this game instead. And Mom was like, you and Jordan pick which one you want, Lane. And so he's like, Jordan, you want to get this game? And I'm like, what is it? He's like, it's a wrestling game. He's like, I promise you'll like it. And I was like, okay, I don't care. Mm-hmm. So gets it, and I remember when we came home, because we were living with Grandma and Grandpa at the point, and Eric was living there too. Eric was so pissed that we didn't come home with Driver 2. I'm pretty sure he left, I think.
Really?
Yeah, he was pissed. he was pissed we didn't have Driver 2. Oh, and we even told him, like, it was sold out. They didn't have it. So Lane pops in SmackDown 2. Know Your Role. Oh, I remember
arguably the greatest wrestling game of all time.
Hands down. Still to this day. I had like an old copy, and I used to pop it in and play it, but I don't know where it went.
I think I found one at the house the other day, actually, and I just sat and cried. Yeah. Because, like, I can't put it in my PlayStation.
But, so we put it in, and, like, he was showing me all the characters, and, of course, The Rock. Mm-hmm. I gravitated towards The Rock. Because that was Lane's favorite at the time, too. Like, he had, like, a Rock t-shirt, but it just, like, had the bullhead on it, didn't have The Rock, and it was, like, Know Your Role.
Lane wasn't a Stone Cold guy?
Well, he was a Rock guy, weirdly. And, like, Lane even has, like, not high school pictures, but, like,
Yeah. pictures around that
yearbook
time,
pictures where he's got like his hair greased over and a chain and glasses on. He's like doing like the Rock pose, from like 90s.
Can
Rock.
we put those on a T-shirt?
They need to be. But yeah, he was big on the Rock, and Mick Foley was his friend Michael's favorite. And I mean, Stone Cold was, everybody loved Stone Cold, but he just talked about the Rock the most, and so he's like, you need to see this guy. So we play it, and first person I picked, Hardcore Holly, and he was the Rock, and he creamed my hind end with the Rock. I got rock bottomed, and
Good.
He showed me the people's elbow, and like the elbow pad came off.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is this sorcery?
Yeah.
And so we played it, and I was like, man, this is really fun. This is kind of cool. And then he's like, well, it's a TV show. And do you remember Velocity and Heat? It was on Saturdays and stuff. That was the first time I started really getting into wrestling. Like I would like see wrestling on TV. Like I went over to Aubrey's grandparents at one time before I even knew Aubrey.
Yeah.
And Kenny and Tex were sitting there watching a Stone Cold segment. And I remember I remember they're like, come in here and watch it with me. And so I sat down, and it was like a Stone Cold segment. Aubrey wasn't there. My mom was over there talking to somebody at one point, or talking to his grandma, and like I watched it with them, and like that was the first time I seen crack some beers and drink it and everything, and like it was like getting good peak Attitude Era. Well, then we finally got TV where we could watch Raw and SmackDown. I never had SmackDown growing up. Never had UPN. So I could never freaking watch SmackDown. But I watched Raw, like, religiously.
Oh, yeah. I think that's how we were, too. Like, I only remember watching Raw and pay-per-views.
Yeah. And I I didn't even know about WCW until my uncle's friend Kurt. Yeah, until my uncle's friend Kurt was like, you need to watch this. Goldberg is awesome. So, put it in, and it was like the pay-per-view,
Yeah.
And it was when, I think Goldberg wrestled, like, Kevin Nash or something and beat him, I'm pretty sure.
It was like a Starcade, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, it was something like that. But like, I was like, holy crap. That bald guy is like Stone Cold but buffer.
Yeah.
It's scary.
He's like Stone Cold and The Rock had a baby.
So my dream was like, dude, Baldy versus Baldy. Stone Cold versus Goldberg has got to happen. And obviously, I've never got to see that.
Yeah.
I did get to see Stone Cold Stunner Goldberg, which was awesome. But
you did get to see, Goldberg versus The Rock, which I'm sure you were like, ah.
Yeah.
Until Goldberg got in the ring and you realized that, he's really not that big. He's just the same size as The Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which The Rock always impressed me because, like, he's big. He's big, but...
it was gross leather vest, big belt buckle Rock, too.
Oh, dude, the best one. Hollywood Rock.
Yuck.
Hollywood one. But yeah, that was really my end. And then, of course, my brother and his friends, they did backyard wrestling, which eventually later I kind of did. Me and you ended up doing, too.
We can just not talk about that as much as we can.
We're going to have a whole episode about it, actually. But, yeah, that was kind of my first big thing into wrestling. And then, like, ever since then, I've just gravitated. And, like, once it got to the point where The Rock retired, that's when Randy Orton came in. And then that's who I jumped on after that. So I followed him. And it's starting to get to the point where I'm going to have to find somebody else.
Yeah, so?
I feel like you already know who it is that I found. Because he is a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that.
I don't.
But, yeah, no, it's...
Even though he has none of the wrestling capability that Randy Orton
has. My Lord, no.
He's so bad.
No, I was actually watching Raw last night, and I was like the tag match, I was pumped for it. Watching wrestle, I was like, he looks like he's going to get hurt every move that he does.
Yep.
The drop kick, I thought he knocked himself out when he landed.
Best drop kick in the biz.
Yeah. My Lord. Randy Orton would be disgraced.
But, yeah,
Wrestling in general, though, I mean, I think I gravitated more towards wrestling than I did comics and movies. But, like, for me, it was like wrestling, and then movies, and then comics. And then when, like, the first comic book movie I ever remember watching, for Lane's birthday, Mom took us to go watch the first Blade. And, like, Lane told me, he's like, this is a Marvel character. And I'm like, really? And so we watched Blade, and then I was just like, freak out! Which, I mean, of course I knew X-Men and Spider-Man was Marvel, and I knew Batman was DC. Mm-hmm. But growing up, I was more Marvel than anything. But, like, Blade was the first superhero movie that I watched where I was, like, really into it. So, it's kind of where I got. And then I'm here now. Obviously, every DC movie or Marvel movie that comes out, I'm wanting to be there either opening night or the next day. And I'm just rooting for all superhero movies because I just love them.
Me too.
In general, so. That's a little bit about myself. And, like I said, we're going to have part 3 to this where we're really just going to kind of give a rundown of us just bull-crapping, talking, updating everybody. So be prepared. We're coming right back with you guys. So if you like this, make sure to like and subscribe and watch.